There we go. Yeah, I think we are just about live. What's going on, folks? Hope you're having a good start to your Friday evening here. And it's Alex. What's up, Alex? My name is Nick, for those of you who don't know. And today we're going to be talking about being a YouTuber as it pertains to sports. Hey, guys, how am I doing? Oh, I'm fine. I've been sleeping pretty poorly recently, so I squeezed in a nap this afternoon, but not as caffeinated as I would have thought I would be. Hey guys, thank you for joining. This is great. I'm not going to dive into the topic just yet. I just want to give people just a couple of minutes to join in here. And of course, if you miss something, if you have to duck out for something else, please, by all means, feel free to come back and watch this again, because of course it will stay up on my channel here. And yeah, so we'll give everybody until about, I don't know, like 5 after or something like that. And then I'll get into it and we can take it from there. So in the meantime, I mean, I pretty much know everybody here. Sharks and Blues tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I might go live after that game, or I might do some sort of live stream. Just chased a dog who ran away with 20 other people. What? That's odd. Hey, Sean, thanks for joining here. As you guys can tell, I've changed the backdrop just a little bit for this evening. And Sunday, my friends, get ready. We're dropping the merch. What's up, Dan? Thanks for joining. I don't know if all of you are curious in terms of creating YouTube content, but nonetheless, I'm happy to have you here, even if it's just briefly. So there you go. Yeah, got the merch finally going, guys. I'm excited about that quite a bit. But now I guess the next project for me is going to be the backdrop. Hey, Louie. Thanks for joining. It is good to have you here. Absolutely. We'll get into it in just a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, just chill out. Ask me hockey questions. Ask me other questions. I don't know. Or I'll ask you questions. You gonna buy some? Oh, there will be an incentive to do so as well. That will be part of the video on Sunday for sure. I did my own photo shoot today. I'm not perfect for that sort of thing, but I mean, gotta amp up the gotta hype things up a little bit. Gagne with a Hattie last night. It's crazy, man. It's almost like Sam Gagne. He just makes an appearance every couple of years where he does something almost improbable. Hey, CJ. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. I just want to wait until folks trickle in. Who's the worst team among all the divisions? I mean, I would probably have to say the Red Wings. I hate to see Detroit in that state for a prolonged period of time, though, I got to say. The NHL is better when Detroit's doing well, which is interesting because I thought Chicago was maybe going to have the worst season given. Although, wait, Ottawa's not that great either. But I'd probably put Detroit kind of at the bottom and then Ottawa. Yeah. Yeah. I guess this is probably when we start seeing folks circulating some rumors among like trade bait and whatnot. The Wings won 5-2 last night. Oh, then again, didn't you guys beat the Panthers also earlier this week? Actually, that Panthers comeback was crazy, guys. Ottawa's actually looking pretty good. Well, they did beat the Habs, so I guess I must be out of touch here. They destroyed the Flames. Then again, who isn't destroying the Flames these days? There's a reason why in my season predictions video, I had not just Ottawa out of the playoffs, obviously, but I had Vancouver and I also had Calgary. I didn't think it'd be that bad, but yeah. It's a beautiful hoodie behind me. Thank you very much. I'll have a thing or two to say about that on Sunday. All right, guys. Well, I think it's a good time to probably get this rolling. So I have kind of my own, you know what I got to do? I got to pop out my there we go. I'm going to pop out the chat here so that way I can see any questions that you guys have. And what I'm going to do is I do have kind of my own sort of script in a sense, but I definitely will make this as dynamic as possible. So if we really if in the chat we want to really hone in on a certain topic or a certain question that you guys ask me, we can do that too. This doesn't need to be super formalized, but nonetheless, I'm prepared to just kind of start speaking on some things and then take questions and whatnot. So hope you can get some merch. Where's Cortana? She's hanging out down here. I've got my headphones on because I just took her out to play. And every time I take her out now, because where I live, it's been snowing. It's always like wet and just mushy on the ground. So every time we come back in, she's always grooming herself, and it's just so loud. So I have to put these headphones on to kind of neutralize some of that. Maybe we'll have a Cortana shot a little bit later on. Riley, thank you for joining. Yeah, these aren't exactly studio grade, but they certainly get the job done. So anyway, I will go ahead and start kind of my spiel. What do I record with? There we go. So I record with, well, first of all, my camera is a GoPro Hero 7. Is that what I'm using? Thank you, Stephen. One thing that I'm going to get into is that really, when it comes to creating your content on YouTube, you don't need to have, the great thing about YouTube is that it's for everybody. So you could simply have your phone set out and make videos that way, and you can manage your channel just through the YouTube app. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there are people who have these like production studios and professional microphones and whatnot. Oh, there's some lag here. Interesting. I thought we would set a filming schedule. Is that right? I thought that we wouldn't have any lag here. My network's been really good as of late. I mean, the last few days. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully, this is something that smooths itself out a little bit. What do I use to edit videos? Yeah, this is good. This is something that I wanted to cover as well. So with YouTube, as I was saying, it's really accessible for anybody to be able to create content. It's just a matter of how much time do you want to spend actually making your videos, and what's sort of your skill level with that sort of thing. So some people can make really good videos just off of their phones because they'll have like an iPhone and they'll have an app built into their phone, or something you can download from the App Store, and they'll make use of those features. And then you have something like iMovie that Alex, it's Timo time, is referencing here in the chat. So iMovie, or there's a Movie Maker, right? That's something that you can have on Windows, or there's some sort of like default video editing software that might be included with your computer right there. So that's kind of another level right there. You also have something out there like Power Director, and Power Director is a free tool that also has a premium level as well. But somebody can download that if they're somewhat familiar with just like the fundamentals, the core principles of editing video. I use Adobe Premiere, so I actually pay a monthly subscription for that. For me, it's $30 a month. That includes the whole Adobe suite, though. So I get Illustrator and Photoshop in there, which is good for making my thumbnails. And I think that you can even find student licenses out there as well. You also have tools like Sony Vegas, and you also have like Final Cut Pro out there. But I myself, I come from a bit of a writing and video production background. So I was already familiar with working inside of Premiere. I started my videos with Movie Maker, I believe. And then eventually I went into Premiere and tried to develop myself a little bit better there. 20 most important NHL goals in history. Wow, that would be one heck of a video. So anyway, and feel free to keep the questions coming, guys. I'll kind of fill in the time with sort of what I had prepared in case we're not ready to really delve into any specific topics. So why start a sports YouTube channel? That's kind of the first thing that I was thinking about here. So and actually before that, I wanted to kind of read my boilerplate here. So, I of course have a channel that's about specifically hockey, but of course this could apply to anybody who wants to create content around sports. So it's about running a sports YouTube channel, and I have a few questions or topics that I've prepared. Let me know if you have questions in the chat here. I'll be checking that from time to time. Super chats are appreciated because I am giving this out for free otherwise, but nonetheless, having you guys here already helps my channel. So make sure you leave a like right there. And of course, feel free to share this now or later with anybody else who would be interested. And if you have any more questions after this, please email me. That's probably the best way. And just try to keep all of your questions and talking points into a single email, and I'll do my best to get back to you in that sense. And just lastly, I'm offering some food for thought. Take it at face value, but please don't expect me to watch your videos or collaborate with you or anything like that. I'm just here volunteering my time to give some pointers. Hopefully this will help. But again, I'm not an expert, guys. I'm just a small YouTube channel. Anyway, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was why start a YouTube channel? And is YouTube the best platform for you? So when I well, guys, I'm going to be talking just about creating video content. Maybe at the very end, we can talk about some of those questions that you just brought up in the chat here. So we're going to we're going to focus primarily on actually just making videos. Okay. You guys are so curious. Fine. I'll answer it. All right. So favorite NFL is it's funny because I have this kind of covered here. So the purple jersey here is for the Minnesota Vikings for football. Okay. NHL, obviously San Jose Sharks. MLB, San Francisco Giants. Orange and black for life. NBA, don't have a favorite team because they were taken away from me. The Seattle Supersonics. MLS, San Jose Earthquakes. And the red jersey here is actually the national football jersey for Denmark. I spent a semester in Denmark. So I wanted to make sure I got a jersey for that, even though I bought it in London of all places. Okay, so why start a sports YouTube channel? Well, let me share my story and then I'll get into some reasons here. So this was about 3.5 years ago. I was working this job. And like I said, my background is actually in writing and a little bit in video production as well. So I was in a career already like that. And I had 2 monitors at work. So I would get my work done with one monitor here. And on the other monitor, I would have YouTube content playing. And for me, it was a mix of like gaming and also some sports as well. And I discovered Neil's channel, Post to Post, and I discovered The Hockey Guy and Hands Down Hockey. And I didn't have that many friends in the area who were really like hockey fans. So I wanted to, be able to speak more about something that interested me, especially my favorite team being the Sharks here. And so eventually I said, you know what? I am somebody who likes to make video content and write and talk about something like hockey. And I said, you know what? I think I'll take a shot at this. So I got started because of that right there. I, of course, come from a non-traditional market as well. So it was a little hard to find people who had the same interests as me as well. So that kind of brings me to this idea, why would somebody want to create a YouTube channel or a sports YouTube channel specifically? So here are a few bullets, a few kind of reasons why. So one, maybe you're an athlete who wants to show off your trick shots. You want to unbox gear, or you want to show off some of your techniques to help people better their game. Maybe you're a fan, a diehard sports fan, or a diehard fan of a certain team or league, and you want to talk about that. That certainly applies in my case. You are a storyteller, you're an artist, you're a designer, and sports is an interest of yours. But the thing is that you really focus on your craft, whether that be writing, whether that's actual video work, whether that's designing. And that doesn't necessarily, stick one-to-one with YouTube. That could actually be used in a variety of ways. Maybe you design wallpaper or something like that. And so maybe you have an Etsy for your designs or your creations. But with YouTube, it kind of unifies a couple of different skills like writing and video production and whatnot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, CJ. I appreciate that. Brainstorming on how to come up with content. Yeah, you know what? I haven't prepared a specific answer for that, but I really do want to focus on that. I'm going to finish this last little bullet right here, and then we can actually talk about that a little bit. So another reason why you might actually start a YouTube channel or think about it is because you want to actually connect with others who have a similar interest as you as well. So I noticed that for a lot of YouTubers out there, they have, for example, Discords, or they have various social media channels. But the thing is that you can actually start making those connections right on YouTube. Of course, YouTube has a lot of chat and stream features as well. So you can still use YouTube as a way of meeting new people and having conversations. So anyway, let's look at this question here. Brainstorming ideas on how to come up with content. And that's interesting too, because one sort of obstacle that I was thinking about is, how do I find ideas for content, especially in the off season? So brainstorming ideas how to come up with content. Well, first of all, it's important that your channel has a focus. And I have a whole spiel dedicated to figuring out your focus, right? So in my case, I I position my channel, I pitch my channel to people as one that is about hockey history and hockey culture. And I don't do the best job with that, honestly. But when I think about coming up with content around that focus, hockey history and hockey culture, right? A lot of that is jerseys, but I'm going to take a step back because my channel used to be a lot more focused on these pseudo documentary like videos. So I think that one great way of actually getting ideas for content is asking those of you, or those, me asking you guys. I said, hey, what other historical topics do you want me to cover? So one thing that was really successful for me about 2 years ago was the history of the actual arenas that these teams play in. So and that actually did really well for the channel. So I didn't focus on the history of the team so much. I thought about the history around them. What's the history of a certain arena coming to be? Just one sec. You can even branch out further. So, for example, there have been sagas written about teams that were almost relocated, right? The Pittsburgh Penguins were almost relocated. So could you talk about something like that? Maybe you could talk about like a certain snafu as it pertains to ownership, like Harold Ballard, for example, right? Think about Urinating Tree's legacy of failure video for the Maple Leafs. Some of you have maybe seen that. It was like 45 minutes long, but he spent so much time diving into Harold Ballard right there. So you can take a larger topic like the Leafs cup drought, and that right there, you could make 6 or 7 very meaty, densely packed videos as it pertains to things like exploring the owner and the decisions he made, like or the general manager and the decisions he made. Maybe talk about some of the just oddities about that certain owner, or like I think about the New York Yankees, for example, right? The New York Yankees have this really weird policy about not allowing facial hair. Don't the Leafs have something like that too? I don't know. Maybe I'm just BSing, but I think that would be kind of interesting as well. So talk about what happens that is not actually on the field or on the ice. There's so much that happens inside that building, inside that locker room. I think about that. I think about sort of like hypothetical stuff too. NHL mascots history. Thank you so much. Yeah, and because of that, I'll be producing a video on the history of the AHL's mascots as well. So that's kind of another sort of deviation as well. So for me, my channel is about hockey history and hockey culture. So that video right there, I think, is a little bit about hockey culture. It's not just about naming the mascots and ranking them. And those kinds of videos, guys, do very, very well on YouTube. But for me, it was about actually, I think, telling some people some things they might not know, right? So these mascots, for example, like why is the LA Kings mascot called Bailey? That actually makes for a really interesting video because Ace Bailey was an NHL player who I think was I don't know if he was no, he wasn't killed in action, excuse me, but he left the NHL I think to go fight in World War I or something of that sort, and he was severely injured, or maybe it was he was severely injured during his career. I'm sorry about this, but here's the principle of it, right? There's a really interesting story about this guy Ace Bailey from 100 years ago, seemingly. Well, because of his injury, the league rallied around him essentially to put together a fundraiser, a benefit to maybe cover for his medical expenses or some sort of cause like that. And that eventually became the NHL's first All-Star game. So that right there, it's really digging deep. So it's taking something that's seemingly mundane or something that you understand on the surface level and just looking at it and saying, there's got to be more to this. So I mean, CJ, that's probably something I could even develop a whole stream around, honestly. But that's kind of my way of thinking about finding things at a surface level and digging into them a little bit more deeply. Uh, Today, I put out a video entirely on Nikolai Knyzhov of the San Jose Sharks. And you know what kind of sprung that was, well, first of all, the game was postponed today, or yesterday. So, but what sprung that was that he had just gotten in a fight with Marcus Foligno, of all people. And it was, oh, thanks. Thank you, Knucklehead. I appreciate that. Welcome. So what I was thinking around that was, well, he just got into this fight. It was the team's first fight of the year. It comes from this rookie defenseman that nobody knows about. And so I said, there's got to be a story to that. So I decided to, put out some content as it relates to how he's been playing recently, kind of what his backstory was, how he's been fitting into the organization. And I myself, I mentioned earlier, I come from a writing background. And a lot of that was for me at an early point. It was actually sports journalism in my uni days. I was a reporter, and eventually I was the sports editor of my university publication right there. So I'm very skilled when it comes to actually like figuring out taking a topic and actually figuring out where it goes from there. It's like, what's the heart of this? What is going to resonate the most with people? So, again, I mean, that's something I could speak on forever. So that is a fantastic, fantastic question right there. If there are any other questions, you guys can let me know. In the meantime, I was going to proceed with some other points that I wanted to make about YouTube. So 16 people in the chat, by the way, guys. That's really good to see. Thank you so much. All right. So for those of you who are maybe not as familiar with using YouTube, oh, what's up, Matthew? Thank you. The weirdest hockey play I've ever seen. Ronald, that would be a great idea for a video. And actually, I'm thinking about making a video around that. So that's again just something like that. You can actually make content around that. When I first start out, how do you gain subscribers? Okay, this is something I wish I had a definitive answer for, but I really don't. So anyway, when you're trying to get subscribers at first, it does not happen overnight, and I'm still waiting for it to really take off, honestly. It's interesting, guys, because when you create content on YouTube, it's important that you create content that you're interested in talking about and content that you are skilled at talking about too. You find a lot of channels out there that will focus a lot on news. They'll focus a lot on predictions, rankings, prospects, rookies, drafts, mock drafts, playing sports video games. Those all do really well. But in my case, at least, I'm not as clued into that stuff as much. But it does well on YouTube. So how do you strike that balance between creating content around something that you're interested in and that you're skilled at, while also creating content that's going to resonate well for your viewers? So that is a journey that you're always going to be on with YouTube, because I know I make videos that only a small fraction of my subscribers are going to watch. And I've gotten to that point where I really know that that's going to happen, but I still do it because I'm passionate about it. I know that some of you out there are, even if there aren't that many of you, and it's just something that I want to continue to carry out for consistency purposes. That's important. Your viewers want to know what to expect from your channel. So that said, there are a few ways I think that you can maybe help your chances of gaining subscribers. In terms of like finding topics out there, I've already listed some that generally do well. I think there's probably one or two out there that might work for you, whether that's ranking logos, ranking jerseys, talking about prospects that you're excited to see for certain teams, mock drafts, NHL gameplay. Even if your channel is about something else in that sport, like, oh, hey guys, I'm going to show you how to dangle, right? Let's say you're creating videos around actually teaching people how to maneuver with their hockey stick. You could still upload videos every now and then of you playing NHL 21, and you'll capture probably a big chunk of audience that might otherwise not come to your channel. What am I trying to say about this right here? Well, here I'll give you an example. So reaction videos. People really like that stuff. Um, I discovered that reaction videos do well when I went to Game 7 against Vegas, because I obviously made a video of that, and that's where I got a lot of subscribers. So that right there helped me a lot, even though I wasn't planning on it to do that well. The production of it was not good at all, but people still really liked it. I didn't even capture anything from the game, like hardly anything. But the thing is that people come to YouTube, or I should say, people are trying to really experience moments, right? And so they want to know what's hot, what's fresh, because people are on YouTube a lot more than they are on traditional TV media. So you guys are the source of that entertainment. You guys are the source for knowledge that people are going to be gaining from watching videos. It's crazy to think that. So anyway, yeah, I think rankings, uh, you know, reaction videos, news, like, hey, here are my thoughts on. Hey, Kevin, here are my thoughts on the firing of Claude Julien. Now, some people might not be as clued into that, but maybe you say, okay, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Instead, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to actually make a video in which I have two versions of myself. I'm going to have Marc Bergevin and I'm going to have Claude Julien, and we're going to have a back and forth conversation. A lot of you know that Steve Dangle does something like that. So Steve Dangle has a different approach to how he creates content around the same topic as somebody like Neil from Post to Post, or Shannon, the hockey guy. You watch a video from Shannon talking about the Julien firing, he's got a bunch of notes on a whiteboard. People love that. And people know that they can expect that every time they watch a video from Shannon. Whereas with Dangle, people know they can expect some sort of quirky intro that often involves, an alter ego of himself too. So basically, try to see what others are creating that's getting views and seeing how you want to do it. I would say that that's a guideline right there, or a recommendation. And another recommendation I would have, and this is not easy, guys, is collaborations. I've received a lot of followers as a result of working with Post to Post a couple of times. Even if, even if it was like, hey, let's do Guess the Jersey, right? A lot of people came over just to watch that. A lot of people came over from his channel. So I know it's hard to secure collaborations, but you have to put in some serious effort to get to that point where you can be noticed. But I think that is one avenue that, if that opportunity comes up, push for it, and don't let that opportunity slip. So being able to work with somebody, even if it's not like a ginormous channel, let's say you have 25 subscribers out there. If you find somebody with 100 subscribers, that's great, but you want to offer them something too. You came from Guess the Jersey. There you go. Letter in the mail time on Post to Post. Whoa, that's crazy. I had so much fun putting that together for him too. Guess the Jersey is a lot of fun. Yeah. So creating interactive content too, that will help. I was going to say, with collaborations, it's important though. When you pitch a collaboration, you gotta think about what you can offer that other person. So in other words, if you say, hey, can I come on your channel? And then you send some subscribers my way. Well, you got to be able to say, all right, here's what I can do for you, channel. Here's what I can do for you from my end of things. I can give you detailed statistical analyses. I can give you a totally different take on the matter because I'm a fan of this team. So being able to pitch that to the other person, that will only be more rewarding for you. First video was Stockton Thunder. So like I said, guys, history videos actually do pretty well. Wow. All right, CJ, catch you later. Hey, thanks for the dono, buddy. That's interesting. It's so cool seeing where you guys come from. Return of the Mac. What's up? So that was my spiel about hopefully gaining some more subscribers right there. And again, feel free to ask me more questions about creating content on YouTube here. We've got 15 of you here. This is great. So I will, the John Tavares was funny. Some people didn't like that. But that was early on. I had, and that's what I'm going to speak on, Alex. So I think when you're first starting out, you got to see this as kind of open canvas, as a playground. Have some fun. First of all, understand that, being in YouTube, your successes don't come overnight, or when your successes come, they come in small batches. You go from 30 people watching your video to 75. And even that, there's time in between there. So I think early on, it's important to really see that as your time to experiment, be goofy if you want, be controversial if you want, and eventually you're going to see one of those videos start to get some viewership there. So like that John Tavares one for me, that one worked because I was speaking about something that was current and relevant. All right, Louis, get some good night's sleep. Get a good dinner in there, man. All right, I'm cheering for you, buddy. Where you rank the NHL mascots. There you go. And you know what? Oh, the best is the Rangers. See, you can even punk people by putting that in at the end too. Hey, Isles fan, thanks for joining. So the NHL mascots one is really good, Keenan. You know why? Because TSN, the Bar Down team, right? Or is that them? The Bar Down team? They just put out a video where they rank the mascots too. So maybe by putting out that video of yours, others will see your video while they're watching the TSN one. So that right there, you're putting content out about something that's that others are talking about, and that can catch on like wildfire right there. So there you go. That's where you got it from. See, that's fine. Now, the idea here is that you have your influences. That's good. Just don't try to be exactly like your influences, because everybody has their own very unique skill set. So I do unboxing videos. I love making unboxing videos, but I know nobody in hockey holds a candle to the GOAT, which is Neil. So I'm not going to, be really meticulous about my photos or my videos. Neil himself is absolutely immersed as a photography file. He's very clued in and skilled when it comes to actually taking photos, setting the scene, getting the right tracking speed when he does his panning. So he is very skilled at that. So I'm not gonna try to hold a candle to that. My abilities are more about, oh, hey, I'm unboxing a reverse retro jersey. Hey, let me share a little bit about the history of this jersey or the history of that logo. So I like to kind of segue in that direction. That's really nice, because then that way people can get something unique from watching a video like Neil's, and somebody can get something unique out of watching my video. So there you go. Oh my goodness, Royce, you're too kind, buddy. And I'm glad that you could join this stream. Let me know if you have any questions about content creation. You don't have to super chat me to do that either. But thank you. This is great, guys. And hold on to some of that coin, because the merch store opens up on Sunday. So hey now. And live streams are always fun too. Yeah. So I do this. I didn't really think about speaking on this so much, but Riley, now that you kind of bring this up, so there is also an opportunity to sort of, as they would say, diversify your content, diversify your presence. This, I think, is more important once you have gotten past that sort of experimental phase and have found that focus, right? So for me, I found out that focus was hockey history and hockey culture. I tried analytics, but those weren't doing as well. I tried other videos that didn't perform quite as well. So I decided to focus in on hockey history, hockey culture, and of course my San Jose Sharks. So once I got that, any quality gear for under $100? That's a great question. Do I want to start with? You know what? I will answer that. Really quickly though. So once you found that groove, and I can talk about that later too. Once you know what your channel's about, and you have kind of a core of viewers out there, like some of you guys have been watching my channel for a couple of years. So I have that core of viewers. So then I can start branching out, and I can have a daily post on Twitter, a daily post on Instagram, different content on those channels, right? And then I can have a live stream once a week as well. So then that way you're not just coming to watch a video. So that sort of rhythm doesn't get old for you. You can still come back and watch my videos, but you have something else to look forward to as well. Any quality gear to buy for under $100? There are some microphones, like the one I use, where yeah, it's not going to be like the upper end of professional quality, but nonetheless, I bought that for like $75. It's a USB condenser mic right there, so you can have good quality sound, which will beat your webcam and your phone and whatnot. So that's kind of one thing that I think is a good investment right there. So numero uno, numero dos, webcams. So I'm currently using a Logi. What is it called? I don't know. It's a Logitech 922. It's a 1080p webcam, and it can actually go to 60 frames per second. I want to say I'm not sure exactly how that works in the context of live streamings. Live streaming. I think that webcam ran me about $120 or 100. I think somewhere in that range right there. So you can basically upgrade from your laptop or maybe even from your phone to something like this. And obviously, a webcam like this can follow you wherever you go. So I would recommend that as well. Do I have a podcast? I don't. But as I was saying earlier, Knucklehead, about sort of diversifying beyond just your core video offerings. Once I would even suggest, for you, you're still kind of at that early phase where you're figuring out what sticks, what will keep people coming back to your videos. And once you have sort of a basis where 20 people, like the names of 20 people who are going to come back to your videos, that's maybe where you break into something like a podcast. I tried something like that, didn't really work for me at the time. Doesn't mean I won't come back to that later, but my offering is 3 videos a week, and in addition to that, there's usually a live stream or two, and then I have a frequent posts via Twitter and also on Instagram. So there you go. Gotta take a breath for a moment here. So yeah, what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, I'm going to recap a little bit what I was mentioning earlier because I spent a whole lot of time preparing this. But what do you need to actually get your channel started? So I talked earlier about having influences, and I think by always watching channels out there, they don't have to be hockey channels, they don't have to be sports channels. Even myself, I'm interested in watching videos as they pertain to things like nature and running a homestead and some like game collectors. So I'll even pick up little techniques, and I'll get ideas for how I want to present my content just by watching some of these other channels out there. So it's really important that you still continue to watch channels and become a student of YouTube in that sense there. And I mentioned earlier, I talked about focus. So for me, it's hockey history and hockey culture. For you, it could be something like NHL news and NHL 21. You could marry those together, or you could talk about sports in your particular city or region. So Pittsburgh sports, like urinating tree, he focuses a lot on that. Or Wardy focuses on the Rangers and the New York Mets. But the thing is that you don't want to deviate too much from that. So in other words, you don't want to talk about the best places in New York to get food and focusing on the New York Rangers. Those are two totally different things. However, if I'm going to go to a game at Madison Square Garden and I want to document my experience, well, maybe I'm going to have some food and drinks at this one place that has all this really cool memorabilia. So I could possibly showcase that in my Rangers channel as well. You have 68 now. It took 3 years to get 70. Yeah, like I said, man, it varies a lot for people. But yeah, I've been on YouTube for 3 years now too. There are some people who take off a lot sooner than that. Chuckleberries, I'm not really going to talk about Chuckleberries because I think that was one where I jumped the gun too early. I had all these great ideas and I started making videos, but then I realized that this channel is so much more meaningful to me in that I have so much more that I can discuss, even if it's not breaking news or anything like that. So, hey, Sharks fan, what's going on? So anyway, having that focus is super important. I talked about cameras. I think what's also really important, guys, is having a stable environment. So when I mention a stable environment, I'm talking about a consistent physical setting where your videos are going to take place. So in my case, I always film in the same room. Yeah, maybe I'll have a live stream somewhere else. If I travel, I might do some filming over there, but you always know where I'm going to be when I have my videos. So I have a backdrop here. For me, it's just a few jerseys that I have hanging up by some push pins. And eventually I'll have something better for that. But nonetheless, it's a stable environment. The lighting is very neutral. So you look at the wall here, it's kind of a yellowy wall, which is not very attractive, but nonetheless, it's not like conflicting too much with you trying to see me. You can see me clearly. There isn't much in the way of shadows, and the environment itself is also very quiet. So you want to be somewhere in which you control what's happening around you. So my distractions are maybe a car because I'm facing the road here. Yeah, maybe cars are going to pass by. So on Mondays, for example, I don't record on Mondays, or I don't record during a certain time of the day because that's when the garbage trucks come. With Cortana, sometimes I have to have her outside of the room so that I can focus on my content right here. I live alone, so I don't have noise from other people here. So it is definitely important that you have a stable environment. Take into consideration things like shadows. And of course, when you're capturing yourself, and I usually would say this about my actual camera that I use, it's important that the viewer can see you at eye level and that you're straight on. I mean, you can frame your shot a little bit of a different way, but you want the shot to be very intuitive. You want a natural shot that that looks, this almost looks like you and I are having a conversation in the sense of I'm eye level. I've got, the setting here is something that isn't taking away too much from what I'm trying to say. I mean, I got the jerseys, of course, but anyway. So I think that is very important right there. Hey, Trevor, thank you for joining. What should you do? What should you do about what? Anyway, audio, I talked about that a little bit. Again, guys, with your channel, here's the thing. So, well, first of all, let me have a swig of water here. What's important here is that focus on, or think about it this way. What kind of content do you want to create? And the thing is that if you want to, for example, film yourself reacting to a playoff game or reacting to, the reverse retro jerseys being unveiled, you don't need all that fancy of equipment to do that. You can essentially get this started with just a phone and the built-in audio and any sort of video editing tools on your phone right there. Whereas if you want to, capture yourself at the rink or capture, something like a jersey unboxing, you want better equipment for that because you want to pick up all the details, or you want a capturing device that can, that has a high resolution so that, and is smooth, right? Like 60 frames per second so that, we can see the action shots a lot more smoothly, and the quality of that is certainly superior to what you would be able to capture on a phone right there. So I'm trying to remember what I'm trying to say about this because I'm kind of speaking out of order here. But basically, in terms of what you want to capture, I think that should have an influence on whether or not you go out and buy some equipment and how much you're willing to pay for that. So for me, I'm talking about things like hockey history. And so when I do that, I often will cut away and I'll have images, like supporting images and graphics and whatnot. So I need a software that can support that. But my camera, yeah, I mean, it's not super high end. I wanted something that was like a kind of middle range camera or a middle range capturing device. So I decided to get a GoPro. For me, that was $350, which, yeah, that you can't always have that sort of money to burn, essentially. But I said, all right, I'm making videos long enough, and so I'm going to go with that. Earlier on, I had a cheaper hand camera, and before that, I think I just had my laptop right there. So my production quality, my equipment, that evolved over time as I wanted to improve my production based on the content that I wanted to create. You could still have hundreds of thousands of subscribers out there just by shooting video with your phone, like one of my favorite channels, Save a Fox. has over a million, I think it's like 1.02 or 1.22 million subscribers, and they're just shooting with their phone right there. But it's all about capturing moments, and they just do an outstanding job of that. You're literally using your phone to record, but you want to focus on jerseys and logos. Okay, so if you're actually going to capture that in person, right? So like an unboxing, that's where I think you'll want to invest in some better equipment. Maybe not necessarily better audio equipment first. You want to have better visual equipment because you want to be able to, for example, you want to be able to have a top-down view of the logos, right? So you want to be able to zoom in that way. You don't want to just focus on the same type of shot every time, right? So you want to focus on different logos. You want to, You want to focus on different angles, right? You want to make time to set up those scenes and just provide the best viewing experience for something like a high quality product or material right there. All right, Trevor, have a good night. Anyway, your idea, since you are a chef, every episode would have a topic. While talking, you would be showing how to make a certain dish for each video. Oh, absolutely, man. And that's interesting, Dan. I'm actually thinking about doing some cooking of my own. So again, guys, this idea about having a focus, right? So my focus is hockey history and hockey culture. But here's the thing. I love to cook. I love to bake as well. So can I actually unify those two together? Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to produce a video in which I actually do some cooking on screen. And the idea is the best hockey tailgate recipes. So for example, I make this killer chili. And so I'm going to show you guys how to make that. It's good. And I'll call it my center ice chili or something like that. So it's kind of like, hey guys, so what are your you're going to be watching some hockey on a weekend evening, but you need some food. Well, what do? Do you call DoorDash? No. You can make this You can make this at home. This is certified grade A twisted wrister recipes. And so I can cook on screen in front of you guys and show you how it's done. So, hey now, I should be on Nailed It unless I'm a good baker. Oh, what do you think I was doing before making videos, guys? Twisted chili. There you go. Yeah. I mean, because I like to make my chilies really spicy. So perfect. And Shark Fan, are you also a Nick? I forget. We have so many Nicks here. Yeah, I mean, even if you are jumping in here later on, this video will be available to you so you can so you can watch everything that you might have missed. You don't have a face cam. For audio, you use a built-in microphone from a headset. I have carbonation. I have gas built up here from talking so much because the air traps in. Oh, excuse me. Pardon. You don't have a face camera. For audio, you use a built-in microphone from a headset. Okay. So, I mean, you can approach it that way. There are channels like O Nyquist. Yeah, I didn't even talk about O Nyquist. God, his channel's taken off quite a bit, but he never actually films himself. So he always has visuals of the players that he's talking about, the games that he's talking about. So you can go about it that way and still be very successful. And so in your case, Alex, maybe what you would do is you would upgrade your audio so that instead of using a headset, you have something that's a little bit more robust, like what I have right here. So essentially, instead of saving your money for a jersey, you could buy a good microphone for that. So there you go. A pancake competition with NHL logos? That sounds amazing. I don't know him personally. I mean, I've chatted with him over Twitter a little bit, but that's about it. Hey, now, let's see here. So I talked a little bit about editing software. Preparation, I think, is also important too. So especially for some of our younger content creators out there, it's very important. And I know it takes a lot of time, but it's very important that you practice what you're actually going to discuss before you actually hit that record button. What people like to see is somebody who's able to speak on a topic smoothly. So somebody who's able to present their information, not have too many or well, hold on. Let me just get this here. Yeah. So see, I even do that, right? We call it a verbal filler when you say or like. I'm from California, so I throw in a like every sentence basically. But it's important to be rehearsed. You don't have to memorize things word for word unless you actually write a script out there. But it's very important that you look at what you're going to discuss. Do your homework, do some research, get your statistics, right? Get that information pulled up, and then that way you're able to read that off smoothly. And so practice makes perfect, guys. That's the idea right there. And so you want to make sure that your video is always just running with you presenting your information right there, and so that you're not distracted by having to pull up information. So rehearse is really important. I rehearse. I have my own unique ways of rehearsing. When what is a difficult thing for me to do? A difficult thing for me to do often is actually introduce my videos, because I want to be able to, I'm pitching it essentially. I'm telling you guys, hey, this is what I'm going to discuss in this video, and this is why I think you need to watch this video as well. So for me to actually present that to you, I really want to be rehearsed for that. So I will often, before I hit record, I'll say it, I'll actually talk about that intro section. I'll actually present that as if I'm talking to the camera. I'll say that over, I'll practice it a couple of times. When I'm out in the, when I have to take a shower, sometimes I actually use that as an opportunity to practice my intro. Or when I'm playing with my dog, I'll actually talk out loud and practice my intro. So definitely rehearse. You don't have to follow a video script, but it's very important to look like you're prepared. Because if I see somebody who is prepared, I don't care if he only has 1 or 2 videos on YouTube or 3 subscribers, I will watch that channel, because when somebody comes in prepared, that gives off the sense that they know what they're going to talk about. So very, very, very important, I would definitely say. Mahir, what's happening, man? Hockey isn't a very big sport. You are absolutely correct. So with that being said, that's why you have to look at YouTube as an opportunity, though. So as I mentioned earlier, I could make a video in which I'm cooking tailgating recipes. You know what that means? That could bring in people who follow other sports like football or soccer, right? Huge audience to pull from there. That could pull in people who like to cook. That could pull in people who are chili enthusiasts, or people who like to bake cookies, or people who are looking for, home and gardening recommendations. See, I could capture a much bigger audience, and it's about how I present that information to them. So don't look at this as a one-to-one match about, it's not me just trying to reach a hockey fan. This is somebody who is either a hockey fan, a sports fan, or somebody who is interested in the way that I present my information. So I think it's very important to see YouTube as an opportunity for that, because everybody is watching on YouTube. And I'm doing well. Thank you, Mahir. Very excited because Sunday we're launching the Twisted Wrister merchandising store. Merchandising. Hey now. Hey, what's up, Nick? Thanks for joining. Let's see here. Well, I've actually covered a lot of my spiel right here. This is an interesting topic here, and I've spoken on it, but I want to hone in on this a little bit more. And that's the idea of finding your groove in the YouTube ecosystem. So thank you, Riley. So when I say finding your groove, right, it's about how do you set yourself apart from other creators out there, even if you're not going to be a huge channel like myself. How do you make your channel yours? So as I mentioned earlier, it's important that you create content about something you're interested in and passionate about, but eventually you're going to want to strike a balance between that end of things and also what you think your viewers are going to like, and maybe that will appeal to others who come in to watch your videos as well. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the idea of striking that balance between what you want to do and what you know will perform well. You want to play to your strengths. So it's interesting in the working world. Some of you might be familiar with this. This is called the 80-20 rule. So when you're doing a job well, it's because 80% of that job speaks to your strengths. So for me, right, my strengths are in writing and in video production. And so I've worked in those career fields, but they do still have some areas where I'm not very skilled. Like I'm very poor at organizing like production calendars. I'm poor at getting certain approvals from managers and whatnot. So it's the 80-20 rule. So 80% of my job is focused on me actually working in my production software, working on scripts, and then 20% is focused on, becoming stronger, becoming a little bit better every day at things like, you know, organizing a production calendar or putting together an agenda for a meeting or something like that. So when it comes to your work, you kind of want to approach it that way as well. So you always want to say, what am I best at? And you want to run with that. But along the way, you're going to run into obstacles and hurdles and say, wait a second, I don't really know exactly how to use on-screen graphics all that well. Or for example, I can't use actual game footage. What should I do about that? And so that 20%, it's about the ingenuity and finding out how you can overcome that hurdle so that your video speaks to your 80%, speaks to your core strengths right there. Do I have a separate job or is this my full-time job? I do have a separate job. So hey, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah. So when it comes to my channel, I mentioned this earlier. My strengths, I'm apparently good about creating jersey content. People love my jersey content. And a lot of that has to do with my all the work I do on the back side of things to talk about the history, the origins, and really dial into what makes that jersey special. That's kind of an example right there. I've written a lot of historical videos for this channel. And I write out these video scripts, and I know how to write video scripts because I know what it's like for a voice actor. I know what it's like for a narrator to look at a script. So I write so that it's easy for a narrator to go and read that. So those are my strengths. But that's why you don't see me talking about things like prospects or rookies or playing NHL 21 because I'm not as interested in that, and I know I don't really have the knowledge to discuss that. So it's all about really honing in on what you do well, and using that as your springboard, whether you're creating the same type of video content or you're trying to branch out and create something different. So that's super important right there. But I already spoke about that earlier too. Make sure when you're early in your channel, though, you want to experiment. So the experimentation, you can experiment all the time, but I think that at first, when you're on YouTube, you're trying to figure out what it is that sticks well with your audience, and you're going to start building an audience based off of that. And then later on, it's about really using your skills to achieve a consistency. Even if you're creating content about two different things, how can you use your strength as a writer? How can you use your strength as somebody who might be a humorous personality? How can you use that and channel that into your content, even if it's not identical? I hope that's making sense. I'm starting to think that I'm getting a verbal diarrhea here. Yeah, I guess I said that this kind of boils down to one all-important rhetorical question here. How would you like to present your topic, and how can you do so in a way that makes immediate use of your greatest strengths? So, Shazam. This is all good advice. Okay, good. Very good. And let's see here. I do have some other points here, but I almost want to save those for another session because we've been going live I think I've been speaking on this now for about 52 minutes. So I want to open this up in case you have any other questions if this is something that I haven't covered yet, especially um, be sure to ask me that. If you need me to provide any more examples for the advice I gave, I'm happy to do that as well. So I figured that I would hang around here for a little bit, and if you would like to get some more advice from me, no, I'm not. I'm not going to go just yet. Basically, ask me some more questions about YouTube content. You can ask me about uh, you can ask me about how I actually go about something like creating thumbnails. You can ask me about maybe how I secured collaborations. It's a little hard to speak on that, but I can share a little bit of info on that too. So I'm here to answer your questions and give more tips. I'm just kind of out of my spiel right now, and I think it's a good time to turn it over to you in terms of what you would be interested in learning more about. So I will patiently wait. I will wait at least for a few minutes here, and there we go. That's how we'll do things for the rest of the stream. Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad this is useful to some of you out here. I hope so, because people have been asking me for some help on this sort of thing. So I figured, why not kind of organize and centralize it this way? Um, yeah, so that's why I decided to do it this way. Knucklehead, Alex, Keenan, Kel, Mihir, Nick. You guys got any questions for me? Fire away. After this, let's see. What, it's 6 o'clock now. All right, so still plenty of hockey on. I would think so. Actually, why I did it. I did this was there's not that much hockey on tonight, so I wanted to schedule it for a night when there wasn't too much happening around the league. You're thinking, okay, cool. Think it out. Hockey ghost stories. Interesting. That sounds like a great topic. You know what, Simon? Actually, there is an interesting ghost story that I shared, and I can make it. Here's the thing. I plugged it into a lengthier video that I made, but I could actually make a video on this topic. So when the original Boston Garden was torn down in the late 1990s, one of the crew members essentially came across the remains of a monkey, and he actually hung on to it for a while, and some weird stuff started happening to him. So, for example, I can make a video based on that, and I already have some knowledge I can pull from just from the video I worked on. Well, I'm here to talk about content creation, Riley. So there you go. Let's see here. It's 9 p.m. in Ohio. Okay. You answered the questions already? All right. But again, Alex, if you have more questions for me, I encourage you to email me. So kind of take some time, let this marinate, think on this for a little bit. And if you have some questions, feel free to put them into an email, and then I can answer them for you. Who knows? Maybe even I'll make just a webcam video where I read your question and then I answer it. Or maybe I will take everybody's questions if a bunch of people email me, and maybe I'll make a video on that for you guys. So, and who knows? Maybe this will become such a thing that I'll make a whole different channel based off of this. But and guys, there are some great channels out there that are dedicated to helping YouTube channels grow. How much does YouTube affect my life? Right now, it actually is a big player in my life because I am more focused on the growth of the channel, the monetization of the channel, the branding of the channel. And so I'm doing this, like I said earlier, I have a job, but I'm dedicating almost full-time job hours just to this channel alone. So absolutely. But the thing is that it's important to know when, or you have to know how to separate it from the rest of your life as well. So, for example, I haven't done this in a couple of weeks. It's been snowing to my credit, or to my as an excuse. But I need to get outside and I need to go for a hike, and sometimes that helps rejuvenate me and helps give me ideas for content as well. So I need to do that. I need to spend time with. I have a couple of family members out here that I didn't even know I had. So I want to reach out to them and say, hey, you want to go get some pizza? It's like, yeah, I got to make sure that I strike that balance. Living purely online, I think is it's not a good idea. But yeah, I really do focus a lot on this channel. A monkey? Yeah, exactly. I kid you not, man. Do a Q&A. But yeah, I mean, I'll need you guys to pour in with some questions for me. Water King, what's up? Who said you can't hike in snow? Oh, I mean, I definitely do. But I mean, we've had some crazy snowfall over the last few days. So, I mean, you live in British Columbia. I love British Columbia. Haven't been there nearly enough. But yeah, I do a little bit of hiking in snow. I need to do a ditch day where I call in sick and go skiing. Did that on Saturday. It's going well, thank you. But yeah, do you guys have any more of these questions here as they relate to content creation? Pick the brain. Sweet the leg. Hmm. Do I have a favorite video? You mean like a favorite video I've made, or a favorite just like in terms of YouTube? I'll answer both though. My favorite video I've made. I don't know if it's my favorite right now, but at the time, the video I made on Charles Schultz, I think, was the kind of content that I want to be known for. He's the Peanuts gang creator. He created Charlie Brown and Snoopy and Lucy and all of them. But he's actually in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. So that right there, that birthed a story that I wanted to tell. And I put in a hell of a lot of time really digging into his affiliation with hockey. Not even as it pertains to the Peanuts gang and to his comic strips, but he also created he created hockey opportunities north of San Francisco that I think that story has been very, very secluded, I think, from the hockey community. And so I really wanted to tell that. And I would love to create more content around something like that too. So I think that one right there is it's big, man. I love that one right there. My favorite other videos. I mean, I think the first time I saw Neil when he did his hand stitched jersey for the San Jose Sharks, it was the first time he had a hand stitched jersey, and just the passion that went into that video, into that production. The fact that he had these tracking shots where it got really close and in 4K. I don't even know if he did 4K. It might have been 8K. But just seeing the level he went to actually just make this, this shirt. It's essentially a shirt, right? It's a jersey, I know. But that right there, if that didn't want to make you become a jersey collector, I don't know what would. I thought that was remarkable right there. So I think of that video as sort of a gold standard for production quality as it relates to showing something physically in person. What's up, Matt, man? New pick. Did I ever see the Snoopy Zamboni? I don't think so. How do I get people to do a collaboration? Great question, Knucklehead. So I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I think for me, where it started was I started commenting on people's videos, not saying, do you want to do a collaboration with me? At least I hope I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No, I was collaborating on, my thoughts, or collaborate. I was commenting, excuse me, on what I thought about their commentary, about their content. I said, hey, that was an interesting point that you made. And I'll say, I really like what you did here with how so I would actually compliment them on their work and a little bit on their content as well. Sorry, I didn't do that necessarily to collaborate, but I did it because I wanted to connect. I said, hey, like, you're a good channel. Like, I want to talk you up a little bit. And the thing is that I don't really know exactly how it happened, what my first collaboration was. I know that Nick, who popped in here, we've collaborated before, but I think that eventually, just the idea, it just came across where one of those channels uh, recognized that I had made videos. I think maybe there were times I think of like Top Shelf Hockey. You guys know Top Shelf Hockey. I think that he was looking for people to come onto his channel. And so I saw that on Twitter and I said, yeah, I'll do that. And Justin from Hands Down Hockey, he said, I want to bring people on to talk about their favorite teams or do a team preview. And so I said to Justin, hey, Justin, I'll come on your channel. And so that way, it's great because I'm offering a service to them by talking about something that they have knowledge about. But I'm a Sharks fan. I got a lot of knowledge here that I can share unique takes and perspectives for that channel. So I was able to offer that up to the channel. And then they would say in return, all right, guys, make sure that you go follow Nick at Twisted Wrister Hockey. Just a sec here. I just had to scratch my nose there. So I'm hoping that, favorite hockey video game. What's up, buddy? And guys, I could create a video just based on that favorite hockey video game. For me, that would be NHL 2K6, I think. Anyway, why did I start a YouTube channel? I did answer that at the beginning, Keenan. Basically, I was, my background is in writing and video production. I was working a job, and in the background, I always had YouTube content going. And it wasn't just hockey. It was related to football. It was like urinating tree. I think that's just in terms of storytelling. Nobody holds a candle to tree. And 5 Points videos was another one too. So I was watching channels like that. I was watching gaming channels, and eventually somehow I got turned on to Post, the hockey guy, and Hands Down Hockey. And I, as a big Sharks fan, and as somebody who didn't have that many people in a non-traditional market to talk hockey with, I said, let's start doing it ourselves. So Shazam. NHL Hits is great too. Favorite Power Ranger. Blue was my favorite color growing up. So there you go. Tree is legendary. Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, and of course, feel free to rewatch this video and email me with questions. Is there a hockey channel that has 1 million subs? Well, think about this. I mean, it's not an independent sort of thing, right? But channels like TSN, Bar Down, Sportsnet, right? They're going to have a ton of subscribers out there. So, yeah, it's. I'm sure that they're obviously paying for advertising. So there you go. Anybody else have production questions, guys? This is what I'm here for. It's not, we might do an AMA at some point, though. Okay, so then we can talk about things like if I had to be a wrestler, what would be my theme song? So we'll have a stream based on that, right? You got a new house? And guys, Mr. Singleton here, he's a good buddy of mine. We go back a long, long time. An AMA is it means ask me anything, not to be confused with AMF. So, I'll let you know, dude. But I mean, obviously, I want to spend time with some friends that I do miss. Absolutely. Other than that, though, man, I don't really miss California at all. All right. Thank you for tuning in, Riley. Hope you got something out of this too, man. A wrestling stream. Yeah. So, guys, like I said, I might do an AMA so that we can talk about video games. We can talk about wrestling. We can talk about food. That's great, man. Are you still in the city, or did you go out to the East Bay? So yeah, any more production questions? Is there a good editing website that is easy to use? Matt, man. So in terms of like getting an editing software, an editing service, so one that I've heard about that's good, that is free, is Power Director. That is here. I'll put it in the chat right here. Oh, you're in Pleasant Hill. Okay. Right on, man. Stay cool out there. Hopefully you got some good air conditioning. Power Director. So that one is free. And then there are services like Adobe Creative Cloud, which has Adobe Premiere and After Effects as well. But Premiere is what I use. you have to pay for it. I pay $30 a month, and that includes Illustrator and Photoshop and all those tools. But they also have subscription plans for students. If you can prove that you're a student in some way, shape, or form, you can actually get a discount that way too. It has a watermark for, yeah, I mean, well, that's not too bad though. As long as the watermark isn't in front of your face, it should be okay. Wait, that was weird. Oh, wait, did you just send me the... Huh. Anyway, that was really weird. It's really tinny though. Tinny? Yeah, I mean, of course, if you know, there are tools like Movie Maker or iMovie that you can also use that are, you know, free with your computer essentially, or your operating software. Would that count for being a student? Yes, probably so. Oh, it's a tiny watermark. Well, then, if it's free and you already know how to use it, and you're not trying to be the next Quentin Tarantino or anything like that, then yeah, you should probably be just fine with that. But for me, the reason why I use Premiere is because, again, I come from somewhat of a video production background, so I was already using Premiere. So that's why I decided to stick with that. And besides, I want to better my skill set because I don't know if I'll ever be a video editor for a profession unless that's on YouTube. But I figured that, you know, furthering my skills in Adobe Premiere would be good. Power Director is recommended. Nice. Yeah, Guy, the Blue Note fan report, he uses Power Director, or at least the last time I talked to him about that. Neil, I think, also uses Adobe Premiere. Hey, now. Any other questions? Give it another couple of minutes, and then I'll probably sign off here. Oh, man, because I'm getting excited for some more of that chili. Although I have some chicken that might expire soon, so I might need to cook that up quickly. Man, you know what I need to learn how to perfect is making some pan-fried chicken. I don't do that well with it, apparently. Like, you know, I like to do the cornmeal. Anyway, I could talk about that forever. That'll be an Ask Me Anything. So yeah. Any final preguntas? You want merch? Hell yeah. Oh my goodness. Hey, it's Gio from Lego Rocks. Get some Lego Rocks hype in the chat. Thanks so much, dude. That's so awesome. Premiere's a great software. Totally, man. That's so cool to see you here. Thanks for popping in. You know, and I find that interesting too. You know, I was talking to people about, like, how do you present my question, my hypothetical question here was, how do you sort of find your groove in the YouTube ecosystem? And feel free to share if you want as well. In your case, it's really interesting because you're talking about relevant content that people are looking for. Video content. People are looking for opinions and impressions. And the way that you do it is you have NHL gameplay in your videos. And that's great because people love coming to YouTube just to watch others play NHL 21. So you're doing that, but you're also speaking about relevant content out there. And really, you're the one who does that. That's what we know you for, you know? Well, thanks, man. You know, I'm actually going to conclude things fairly soon, I would think. But of course, I was live earlier, or at least I was really honing in on this. I had my spiel earlier on, but yeah. YouTube as a platform for other options. Yeah, that's great. You can only cook toast. Fun. You love my hair. Well, thank you. See, that's my pledge to you. I might not have the best content out there, but damn it, I will have the best hair of anybody talking about hockey on YouTube. So there we go. So yeah, YouTube is a platform. This is great, Matt. That's a fantastic question. I'll mention that. You record the audio separately, radio style. Totally, man. Like you know you have a radio voice. Yeah. I like it, man. Like nobody else does that but you know, or at least when it comes to hockey. So I wanted to also mention YouTube as a platform. And the reason why I like it is because everybody's out there. And as I was saying before, even though I create videos about hockey, that doesn't mean I can't attract viewers of other interests. So, for example, eventually, the pipe dream here is that I'm going to go travel and visit other arenas. Hopefully, not just in the United States, but also in Canada, in Europe, who knows, maybe elsewhere in the years ahead. So, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to do some travel vlogging as well. So, I'm going to go, let's say I go to a game in North Carolina to the Hurricanes. Well, I've never been to Raleigh before. I want to know where all the Hurricanes fans like to get a drink before the game. I want to know where they get the best Carolina style pulled pork. And so I'm going to document all of that together. And then that way, not only are hockey fans going to enjoy the video, but travel fans are going to enjoy the video. Maybe, the city of Raleigh, if they have a YouTube channel, maybe they find my video out there and they say, hey, we want to do a spot with you or something like that. Anyway. So YouTube is the best platform for that. Absolutely. What else I like about YouTube is that lost my train of thought there, is that again, there's no file size limit, there's no time limit. So you could create a reaction video that is 20 seconds long that gets 1 million views with just your phone, or you can go the route of creating a documentary on YouTube that runs for an hour and it talks about Gordie Howe with the Hartford Whalers, and you're using all kinds of photography or something like that. So you can make it on YouTube in so many different ways out there, and you can attract people of various interests. I think those are kind of the main points I wanted to hone in on when it comes to that. And it's the second most used search engine in the world, only after Google. So people are always looking for stuff and come to YouTube. So they search on YouTube or they search on Google, and Google obviously pops up with a few different video recommendations there too. So you got to think of it from that side of things as well. And then basically, once you're sort of on YouTube and you have that core audience, that's when you can start to look into other channels as a means of putting out other types of content. So, for example, guys, I don't use YouTube to post my jersey concepts so much. So when I make jersey concepts, I make use of Instagram right there because that is a good way of attracting people in that sense. Or when I talk about my thoughts on the San Jose Sharks during the game, I'm going to go on Twitter to do that because I can give you up to the minute thoughts and impressions, and I can do it that way too. Excuse me. Favorite food? Well, Water King, maybe we should save that for an Ask Me Anything. I am a pizza snob, though. The only channel that talks with long hair. Well, don't forget, there are also a couple of women out there that talk about hockey. You got Jillian Fisher. I don't think she's been making as much YouTube content, but of course she has a big following. You also have Tara at the Glove Drop. She's a New York Rangers fan. And I'm sure there are a couple others I'm missing out as well. I am subscribed to some other women who talk about hockey. Anyway. Kudos to you, though, Keenan. YouTube needs to invent a spoiler mode, so you don't log on to YouTube and see spoilers for WandaVision. That's actually a good point, man. Those jersey concepts. Oh, thanks, dude. That's awesome. I appreciate that. I'm just glad that sports templates is such a good tool. It just makes you don't have to be a good designer, you don't really have to be a skilled designer in something like Photoshop to actually be good at designing jersey concepts on there. So I'm very thankful of that. Any other questions as it pertains to content creation? Altre domande, ragazzi. Let me know. Simon, I think you need to start a channel that's all about Zambonis. Do I like editing videos? I think that's what you're asking me. Or do I actually live in a production software? Yeah, actually I do. I do like editing. It can be very cumbersome at times. Excuse me. Dang. And there are definitely times when, like, for example, when I do guess the jersey and I bring on other people, it took me a while to figure out how I could get their footage and incorporate that into my video in the least time-consuming manner possible. So editing has lots of pains, but nonetheless, I love editing because sometimes I I don't know that I'm actually going to do this. I pull something off, I implement an effect, or I think about I take a video that I made that's 20 minutes long, and I have like 5 different ways of recording the intro. But when I figure out what that is, and I'm actually editing that and figuring it out, I'm like, oh, perfect. Or I say, oh, it'd be great. I have this like cliffhanger moment, or I start to make this joke, or the height of that humor, it hits, right? But then I cut right to my intro right there. So sometimes I figure out that timing. I think about just these. There are aspects of my production that only come to mind when I'm editing, and so I certainly appreciate the editing process for that. How did I make my logo? So there are a lot of services out there. So for example, Streamlabs, which I use for my live streams from time to time, not right now, they actually have a logo creator right there. You can go onto Fiverr.com and hire somebody to make a logo for you. You can actually ask one of your subscribers or say, hey guys, let's have a contest. Let's see who can give me a good design for the channel logo. In my case, for my main logo right here, this was how much time did I spend on conceiving this? So this was actually professionally designed. I hired somebody off of Fiverr. I had a budget. I had a nice budget for this. Knucklehead, nice. I know what you're trying to say, but I do have I am preventing people from spamming caps, so that's why your message got how it was removed essentially. I know you didn't mean anything bad by it by any means. Anyway, so I worked on sketching a design for this. I even did a digital version, and then I paid somebody to do this because I wanted a professionally done logo, and to me this really hits home with what I want to have as my brand. So anyway, I spent about 15 or maybe even 20 hours really figuring out what I wanted to do. I sketched it out. I had so many different concepts and ideas for this. So I wish I had my sketchbook with me because I would share it with you. But I have totally a bunch of different drawings and doodles that I made. I have notes. I had, I pulled together other logos out there that I liked and aspects, and I really factored that in. And then I put together a concept, a digital version of my logo, which looked like absolute crap. And then what I did was I showed it to a professional. I said, could you make me a logo like this, but less crappy? And so we worked together, and I gave him some feedback as well. And ultimately we came up with my logo. And so that was great. Now, this is crazy, guys, because again, I come from video production and I work with a lot of artists and designers. So I myself, while I'm not a professional, I do enjoy a lot of design as well. So this one right here, I actually made this one myself. So I spent like an hour or an hour and a half figuring out what font I wanted to use. And then I came up with I just wanted something that was a little bit more simplistic, something that's maybe a little bit more corporate, which sounds terrible. But, if for example, there's a company that wants to sponsor something that I'm doing, or they're like, oh yeah, give me your logo. We'll put it on a flyer or something like that. I wanted to go with this. So that's how I came up with designing this. I don't, I'm not a great designer, but this really clicked with me. You can see here that the O in hockey, it's actually constructed like a face-off dot, and it's making natural use of my colors. So my colors are black and cyan, or which is like electric blue essentially. And so what I did was I put two blue bars to encapsulate the logo, and those two blue bars, what do they represent? The blue line in hockey right there. So that right there, I like my logos to have meaning and significance. And I budgeted to have somebody else design it eventually. Oh, no problem, sports geeks. And I'm actually going to wrap things up right about now because I've been speaking for about 90 minutes. But of course, you are more than welcome to watch this production. And guys, again, if you have any more questions, think about it and send them to me in an email. My email is in the video description down below, twistedwristermister@gmail.com. Try to group all your questions together, and I'll do my best to get back to you here. And guys, I might even produce more content around this, depending on people's interest, and especially if my channel grows a lot more. Because then, when my channel is going to grow more, because I'm working my ass off to do so, and the idea here is that when my channel grows even more, I'm going to learn a lot more that I can share with you guys as well. But again, guys, I am no expert to this. I am just a small little channel, but I wanted to do this, and hopefully this will, yeah, hopefully this will benefit you guys in your content creation journey. So anyway, I'm going to conclude things right here. I hope you guys got something out of this, and if you did, leave a thumbs up because it helps the channel out. And hopefully this will help you on your content creation journey. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And stay tuned. Sunday, baby. We're dropping merch. We are dropping merch. Oh, Cortana. Hey. Did you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Where's my sweet girl right here? Oh, hi, girl. Oh, hi. Hi, Cortanas. What a sweet girl. All right. Awesome. I love hearing this, guys. All right, guys. Farewell. We'll do this again in some way, shape, or form soon. Go Sharks.